this year we're working with Swix and Toco to help us out with wax and a lot of different things. So we're going to start, and with that, we're going to be sharing their wax recommendations for various races this winter. So this Saturday, we have the SISU Ski Fest in Ironwood. So we're going to start with that race this year. And first, we're going to look at the Swix recommendations. So Yuri, maybe if you want to show over here. So starting with glide. So you kind of work up the line. So it's pretty cold. So we're going with the coldest wax, which is the PS5. And that would be your first layer. And this is all fluoro-free recommendations as well. So you see it's a pretty cold temperature range, 14 to 0 Fahrenheit. It's a nice hard wax. It'll set in the base really well. And then you kind of work up the line to HS5, which is their high speed. And then that'll kind of layer nicely on top of the PS5. And then on top you can put the Swix Pure Marathon, which is a really nice hard wax that settles in for that'll last in the skis for 30 plus K. We actually use this wax a lot, even for shorter races, because it's such a good wax. And then if you have capability to get this is a TSP5. So that's just running up this line here. So this is the top speed 5. So that you have the performance speed 5, the high speed 5, and then the top speed 5. You don't need to use this one. This is kind of a bonus wax if you have it. But I am going to show how to actually apply this one, because unlike these, this comes in a powder form. So I want to show you guys how to put on a powder paraffin and iron that in. So we're going to show how to do that one. But yeah, for glide, that's what you have for Swix. So you're kind of working up their coldest line. So performance 5, high speed 5, Swix Marathon, which is just one of the safest and most viable options you can have. This right here. And then the top speed 5 powder, if you do have the ability to grab that. And then working next into kick. So start with a binder, which we're going to show how to do a binder as well. This is their VG35, great binder. It's nice. It's green. It's cold. It works really well. We're going to show how to put in a binder layer. And that's ideally something you can do the day before to let it set and harden overnight if you have the opportunity for that. And then we have a few options for kick. So Swix has their VP line, which replaces their VR line, which was their fluorinated racing line. So now they have the VP line, which is it's been a really great option, fluoro-free option. It works super well in a lot of different conditions. We've really liked it. And basically what you can do is you can run a VP 30, which is one of their colder ones. And then if you don't have quite enough kick, you can cover with VP 40, give a little bit more kick. So they kind of go 30's colder, 40's a little bit warmer, but they're both really nice blue waxes that are going to work really great in colder temperatures. And then if you want to keep it really nice and traditional, you can always do the V40 Blue Extra, which is a great wax. We were skiing around on it today out here in Houghton. It's one of the most popular, well-known waxes. Everyone knows what a Blue Extra Day is, so you can expect to be just fine on that too if you want to use that wax. So yeah, that's Swix, and then we're going to look at Toco now. So Toco recommendation is high performance cold, which is their paraffin. Really nice blue hard paraffin that you can put in skis. We've been using this all week up here. We've been using the blue and the red, depending if it's a little bit warmer or colder. Great wax. It's going to set up. It's going to work really similar to the Swix line. So they're high performance cold, great wax. If you don't have this, you can use the base wax blue or base performance blue, which is also a really good option, but this is just going to provide a little bit more speed. And then on top of that, you can use the high performance liquid paraffin, which is a really nice paraffin. And if you can, I would recommend putting it on the ski and letting it sit overnight. And I can show you how to spray it on the ski and then brush it out as well. But for this blue one, and especially in these just very standard Midwest temperatures and cold weather, you're going to want to put this in and then ideally let it sit for some time, dry out, and then brush out the base and be ready to go. So we'll show you how to do that as well. And then for kick, so yeah, this is probably Toco's one of their most well-known products. It's their green binder. This is a super popular product. We've actually already put it on some skis for tomorrow for our 20K Classic Mass Start because we were letting it sit. We're going to show you how to put this on too. So we know that this will work super well. It works great in cold conditions. Yeah, we already have it on some skis. So yeah.
One thing, Leo, I think would be important to mention, since this is our first video, that the uniqueness of the partnership we have with Team Berkey and 6 with Toco and Swix. Both lines are incredible incredibly good. And what we suggest is you pick the line, Toco or Swix, understand the product, learn the application, and you'll have great skis regardless which brand you choose. Just choose one, stick with it, learn how it works, and you'll have great skis. So that's the uniqueness. Yeah, some people asked us why. How come you have two brands? You guys involved, and I mean that's why, because both brands have great products, and they will make your skis fast. You just need to stick with one, and based on maybe what is available at the local store, or maybe what you already have, and just expand the line to cover different conditions.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. We're Team Berkey. We're super fortunate to have both of these lines and products available to us. We often or always find ourselves basically coming back to these waxes, and it's really important. They are separate lines and waxes, and one of Toco's biggest things is the simplicity, and simplicity really can make things great. They don't have quite as many kick options, but the kick options they have really wide ranges and things like that, whereas Toco's going to have a little bit more options that are more specific, but that's just kind of a preference thing and what you like. But like Yuri said, either or is great, and it's what you have available to you, maybe what you have a preference towards, and it'll all work great. So back to the Toco. So Nordic grip wax base, super good binder. We use this all the time. And then on top of that, you can do 2 to 3 layers of just Nordic grip wax blue. Really good blue grip wax. One of the favorites, especially in the Midwest. This stuff works awesome. That's what we have. I was maybe going to show a few things on here.
Yeah.
So we're going to start with a binder. Actually, we'll start with a paraffin, and then we'll binder after. So what I'm going to show first is how to put this on the ski. So this is Toco TSP5. So this is that top speed 5, and it's a powder. So a lot of people haven't used powder waxes before. So I'm going to show how to use a powder paraffin. I grab my iron here. So you see here, it's just got a lid. So it's not just an open container. That would maybe be a little tough to get it on. So I'll show on the bottom of the ski here. So I just hold it like this, and then I tap the back of the can, and then it goes nicely on the ski like that. Get both sides of the groove. Sometimes a little bit will fall off the side. That's okay. And then normally I grab a groove scraper, get that out of the groove, and then so you're not ironing into the groove. And then I have my iron here, and then super nice and smooth. And I just iron that right in. And you see that's just one nice smooth layer. If you want to get one more pass, sometimes what you can do is right away work this out. And then do one more layer, one more quick pass like this, because you don't want to heat up the base too much.
What temperature is the iron on?
It's at 160, which is just a recommendation for what Swix recommends. But that's how you do a powder paraffin. Really simple. I think sometimes people get a little afraid of powder because they don't know exactly how it goes into the ski. But really easy. It's in the ski, let it sit, let it dry, cool, then brush it out just like normal, like a normal paraffin. So then maybe I was going to show how to do binder next.
Quick question. So about the iron, how often do you clean the iron? Is it after each different wax you use?
So if I'm using a different wax, I'm doing wax testing, and we have different wax going on test skis. Actually, you can see here, I have this set up. This is set up right here so that I can just do that, clean it, and now it's ready to go again.
Excellent.
Yeah. So I always have this set up on a bench.
Just a good reminder for everybody.
Yeah, and I clean up every day basically. Even if I'm just putting the same wax on, I always like to clean it and have the surface nice and clean and shiny. Now we're gonna show how to do a binder. So first thing with the kick zone. So I've already taped my kick zone off here, so I know exactly where I want to wax. So I'm not going to be running it off into the glide zone or anything, or having any kick falling off. So I always start with some sandpaper. Anything from 100 to 150 grit can work good. This is 120 grit. So I just go back and forth, nice and smooth with the sandpaper. Don't be afraid of getting it in there. You kind of need to use this to get the base to stick. And then you just see it's nice and smooth. I always go in the direction of the ski as well. Finish. like that. Make sure all the bristles are out. And then with the Toco green here, so this is going to be our binder. So got it right here. Put it on. I really like these Toco. You can they're a little bit bigger than most kick tubes, so they go in your hand really well. Try to just get nice thin layers here. So there, I'll do a little bit more right there. Make sure it's all even. Looks pretty good. Now I have a separate iron. It says kick wax on it, and it's about 30 years old, and it's great. And this is just a kick wax iron. So this is what bindering a ski. So now I'm just adding some heat to that binder. And what this is gonna do, now I'll cork it out nice and smooth.
What's the temperature for the?
I normally use about 120 degrees. You don't need that much. And you saw I was only over the wax for about 10 seconds. And then I grab a cork here, and then I just smooth this out. I'll work on both sides of the groove. And it's nice that wax is heated up, so it's very liquid almost right now. So it moves really easily on the ski, so you don't need much pressure at all. And I just try to create basically both sides of the groove. You just try to create two thin, equal layers of kick. And now that that's nice and heated, you can see it almost looks like blister on there right now, but that'll dry out, and I let it sit overnight normally. That'll dry out and harden. And then after that, it's really easy to put the kick wax on top of it, and your kick wax isn't going to fall off. So basically it gives a lot of durability, which is super important for the marathon races. It's going to prevent that kick from just gradually shearing off throughout the race, and it gives a really nice platform. It's really sticky, and it doesn't take away any speed because you do a nice thin layer like that, and it won't take away any speed. It just adds durability.
And how do we remove the glide?
Yep, we can show that right now. So glide wax, very simple. This is the same, or I'm going to take it off the same as I would any normal paraffin or anything like that. There's nothing fancy just because it was a powder. So grooves, always start with the groove scraper. Try to get both sides of the scraper just to make sure that you get everything out. And then I grab this. If it's not sharp, I'll sharpen it with a sharpener. But then I just try to do nice, smooth passes with the scraper here. I always try to just look and see, make sure if I miss anything, that it all comes out. Sometimes the tails can be a little tough because they fall off of the bench, but then I'll just move that platform, and then there you go. From there, start with, I was like a copper bronze brush. Start there, get that into the base. It kind of opens up the structure of the ski and make sure all the wax gets out. And then I'll move just onto a couple polish or a nylon or horsehair brush here. And this one you can go forwards and backwards. These you can see I've put an arrow on this because you just want to run this one direction on the ski because the bristles are a little bit more they're just a little bit more abrasive and they're going to get into the structure. And if you run it backwards like that, it might make your ski base a little less friendly towards the snow. So then move into a horsehair. These you can go forwards and backwards, and then lastly polish off with a polishing nylon brush. Like that, the base is nice and shiny now. And then if you're using the Toco recommendation, which is this is the last part of the glide here, which is that high performance blue. So then what you do, and this is just a liquid spray. What I'm going to do in the glide zone is right over, and I'm just going to do one nice pass. And now we can put it in the light, and you can see there's that liquid on there. Mm-hmm. And then ideally you can let it sit overnight, completely let it dry and let the base absorb it. And then you'll brush it out with this polishing brush and you're ready to race. Very simple.
And it's just a nylon.
Yep.
Brush.
Very simple.
Soft or?
Yep. Soft nylon polishing brush.
Okay.
Toco's tested every other way to take it off, and they've come back to just letting it dry, polishing with this. Super simple. This will take a little bit to dry. So same thing though, if you're gonna, once it's dry, and yeah, if you can let it sit overnight or put it on early in the morning, go have your breakfast, go to the venue, then the last thing you do before you go race is take it off. That's the best way to do it. Yeah. So those are a few the recommendations for the SISU Ski Fest for both Swix and Toco. Like Yuri mentioned, both of these are great brands, and both Team Berkey and CXC is super fortunate to have them in our corners as we're doing everything we can to help athletes make fast skis and do all those types of things. So super fortunate, and we've had a ton of success with this product here at US Nationals this week. We've had great feedback from athletes on skis and all those different things. So really love working with these brands, and yeah, that's what we have for tonight.